Hello, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA46 on this Wednesday, May 13th. Today, I want to talk about the dust. The dust is settling. We're all seeing it, right? We're seeing the dust settling. The fog, we're all feeling that fog lifting because the fog is lifting for me. It's getting really, really clear. And the data, the comparisons of the data, the comparisons of the freedom of information. One of the things about freedom of information and data collecting and that kind of stuff is that we have access to it, right? All the money that does go out the window to a lot of these, to me, like wasteful things that should be spent on. Like the other day I talked about the top 10 things. If you're going to die on Earth, the top 10 things are tied to non-communicable. I talked about that, environmental, or pollution. Those are the three big ones in the top 10 in the last 25 years. Doesn't matter what you are on Earth, what kind of human being you are, what group you're associated with, what you belong to. Those are the top three things you're going to die on this Earth of, or motor vehicles. Unless you get rid of motor vehicles, you can't change that, right? But the other three, we have control over. And then when I'm looking at that this morning, I was like, just quickly before this video, what are you most likely going to die of? If I was to pick one on this earth, what's most likely going to die of? And when I did that, one of the things that came up was Black people are 4 times more likely to die from coronavirus. Right, and I talked about this the other day. Certain cultures, certain groups, certain boxes, right? Whether the elderly, the obese, those underlying issues, certain cultures and ethnicities that, depending on what they do, are 4 times, 6 times, or 10 times more likely to die from coronavirus. And I'm going to get into these flu shots in a moment, but I'm looking at this certain groups. If somebody said to me, Jean-Guy, if white people with white beard or pinch beard and that were 10 times more likely to die if I drank carbonated water. If I drank carbonated water and I was 10 times more likely to die, I'd want to know if I was a white man with a beard and that attributed to that. So if somebody's telling me you're 4 times, 8 times, 10 times more likely to die from something because of groups you belong to or who you are, I'd want to know, correct? So when I'm looking at data and I'm looking at everything that they're basing themselves on and all this lockdown and that, I know there's big pressure right now from government to go out, which I agree with, the measured procedures in place, and there's big pressure from the medical field not to go out, right? And there's some things you have to agree with. You can't argue facts, right? If you present facts, you can't argue the fact. So when I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the dust and the fog and all that stuff and the numbers. And then when you're looking at the numbers, if you look at the commonality between us, and then we're those that are the general population can go back out there with measured procedures. And I don't want to go back over that. The general population can go back out there, except for those categories that have to go through life cautiously at the moment until they find a vaccine, right? Until they find a cure. But then somebody brought something up to me the other day. Do they have a cure for the flu already? And I said, well, they have the shot for the flu, but do they have a cure for the flu? Well, they don't have the cure for the flu. So what do? I revert back to the World Wide Web. You revert back to the stats, your World Health Organization, your CDCs, all that money is going up, right? And all these organizations. When you look at the statistics of the flu, right? And how many people actually die from the flu, and how many people actually get sick from the flu, and how many people actually get sick from getting the vaccine of the flu, just flu type symptoms. I don't want to get into all the other conspiracy stuff. Just flu type symptoms. There is really not a cure for the flu. Right, there's a control for the flu, like a 50% control, a 40% control, a 60% control, et cetera, but we really don't have a cure for the flu. So unless they come out with this mystical, magical vaccine very shortly, this is ongoing. When I heard this morning, our country, a two-year thing of testing, a 2-year program of testing for the COVID-19, et cetera, and they're looking ahead, right? So when I'm telling business the other day, it's not just going to be a flick of the switch. Start your business, giddy up, go, everybody rush in, right? It's not going to work that way. We all know that psychologically everybody's been tarnished, and that's going to take a long time for everybody to go back, right? So that flick of the switch, general population, flick it now, right? And I've talked about this. I don't want to rehash into that. When I look at boxes and numbers and data, you cannot argue the fact. I agree there's certain categories within our cultures, whether it's age, whether it's obesity, whether it's culture in a city, etc. There's certain cultures, there's certain groups, there's certain boxes, certain everything that have to go through life with cautionary measures. Just like when my daughters were born, we took cautionary measures. Just like when my parents were ill, whether my mother with ALS and my father with strokes, I took cautionary measures. My family took cautionary measures. When you approach certain things in life, when somebody works underground, or when somebody works in hydropoles, or when somebody works in confined spaces, or somebody works underwater, or somebody works with hot work, we've talked about this before. I've engaged in conversation. We go in with precautionary measures. So that's what we're going to do through life. And those that know, if I knew that a white man with a beard is 10 times more likely for something, I would be going into my life with cautionary measures. I lost 80 pounds, I told you, because I choose to live a certain lifestyle. If somebody puts junk food in front of me and junk food in front of me, which constantly I'm subjected to, I still don't take it because I have that control, right? I have that control. Just like you, ladies and gentlemen out there, have that control to go out in society following the criteria is known to you. So this is why the data is important. This is why the sharing information is important. This is why it's important to tell certain boxes and certain categories that this is what you are subjected to if you go amongst the masses. General population, general everything. You guys can go out, start the world, please, right? Get it going, and then we'll look at all these other categories as we proceed. If we see blips and bumps in certain category, we'll let you know. Please put in these measures and procedures for these categories, right? We don't need labels, we don't need signs, we don't need bans, we don't need nothing, please. But we do need education. Education is key, right? With conversations come solutions. And with the sharing of the data backed information, you can't argue the facts. Always remember that. So when I'm thinking of the flu numbers, when I'm looking at the 4, 5, 6 time numbers, when I'm what you're most likely going to die of numbers, where the money should be going numbers, when you look at all that and you pay attention to the facts, which you can't argue, start the world. Start the world. Let's get going. Let's move forward. And again, I'm not being like not. I got one of the biggest hearts out there. I'm thinking of the elderly. I'm thinking of the old. I'm thinking of the young. I'm thinking of every human being out there from birth to death that can be affected. We all agree. Nobody's going to disagree with it. Nobody with a civilized mind and heart would argue with that. But that can be put in place with certain categories. Okay, let's start the world with all those measurements in place based on data, based on facts, based on numbers. Start the world. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA 46.